welcome back to our Sproutable Parent Q&A. This week we have a question from a parent who wants to know, how do we ditch the pacifier? We called it a binky in our house. We were so attached to the binky. I loved the binky. All three of my kids were binky kids. But we also know that all of our pediatric dentists tell us that at some point we have got to ditch the binky, and that it is sooner rather than later. So how do we do it? Some people like to use this whole binky fairy and attach presents to it, but I love to teach intrinsic motivation from a very early age. I like to lean into the intrinsic motivation because I want them to do it for themselves, to feel good about their capability, for them to be able to grow these new skills for themselves, to find different ways of comfort and to be able to feel through their emotions. We also know that when there is extrinsic motivation, they're just doing it to please me, or because this is what mama wants to do, or because that will make me happy. And that is not a value that I want to carry through parenthood or our relationship. We also know that through research that extrinsic motivation actually decreases the value of whatever it is that we want them to do. And so if we're trying to grow capability, responsibility, emotional regulation, they're not going to care about that as much when we add a toy or a point system or a sticker system to be extrinsically motivated. And we want to just focus on that sense of capability, responsibility, independence, and being able to handle big emotions. I also add our positive discipline layer, which is how are we connected and firm at the same time? This is a great place for us to practice as parents with follow through, with making a decision. So lots of places for us to lean into this challenge. And we know that the binkies can be a huge source of comfort, security, and also give us some real quiet. So there's a difference between kids that are under 2 and over 2. So the question from this parent, they have a 2.5-year-old. We also know older kids have them as well. My recommendation is to really lean on that 2-year-old birthday, that by 2, at 2, we are saying goodbye. And this can be a nice reframe for kids where they just know, oh yeah, this is part of my birthday. This is part of, now I'm 2. I don't need it anymore. So you get to really drive the PR around that. You get to drive the branding, about what it means to be 2. One thing that can also be helpful is when you get rid of it around some sort of a weekend away or a trip or something. And so that they really are out of the house, starting a new habit, and are able to lean into this new environment with it, and everything is sort of fresh and changed up. It goes without saying, you obviously have to get rid of all of them. You cannot just have them hanging around the house. So setting that date, letting them know in advance, we're getting rid of all the binkies. We're saying goodbye to the binkies. They're going back to other kids that need them. I usually avoid saying it's just for babies or just for littles. I just say they're going to the kids that need them, and really lean into just, we're 2, we don't need them anymore. And then once you've gotten totally rid of them, the phrase that I used for my kiddos was, oh, well, there's no binkies in California, right? It was just this real confident follow through, we're done. They're obviously going to melt down, right? There is going to be that next time, whether it is that they're in the car where they had it, or they're going down for their nap or bedtime, that they're like, where is it? I need it. And so this is where they're going to need something else to be soothed, right? Something else to have that comfort. And so this is where we get to offer them those other tools, leaning into the rest of your routine, right? So you're still singing the same songs. You're still holding them in the same way, reading them the books, telling them they're capable, rubbing their back, singing the song even in the car, listening to the music, whatever it is, you're still the same steady parent, and you're confidently saying, we don't need the binky anymore. So it is okay for you to feel some distress too when they're having those big emotions and that big meltdown and that big tantrum. And so just really staying confident and you staying regulated and you staying calm and you trusting that they can have big feelings too. It is okay for them to be disappointed. It is okay for them to be communicating through their big emotions, that this was something that was really important to them and was their only tool for a while. And you holding that space for them, not being afraid of that, saying, I can handle it. I'm here for you, you know. For other coping tools and ideas, we have a great video on calming big tantrums, on creating a positive time out space or a calm down corner. So lots of ideas there. But just remember that they don't need the binky. And so we're not trying to completely replace that with something else that's just going to create this new habit. We want to help support them as they're creating this new experience or this new routine where they don't actually need it. So really leaning into the predictability, again, going back to it's the books, it's the song, it's the rubbing the back, it's really that trust that it's okay to be in discomfort right now and that it's not going to last forever, that all big feelings come and go, just like waves. So when they're older than 2, when they're older and they're now 2.5 or beyond, this is where you really want to connect with them and join with them to say, you know what, I've noticed that we have had this binky for a really long time and you're now 2.5 or 3 or 3.5 and we really don't need it anymore. And you can, of course, add in the piece around your dentist. We love our Dr. Sadis. We can say, and just like how our dentist recommended that we don't need it anymore. And actually, it's not that great for us to have it anymore. And so we follow the recommendations of our dentist. So really joining with them around the why, having your plan with them of when we're going to say goodbye to all the binkies. We don't need them anymore. And then really letting them know you're there for them to help them through those waves of emotions and finding these other tools for them to find comfort, and that deep down, you know they are capable and they are going to be able to move through life without a pacifier and a binky. So thanks for writing in. If you have any questions, always reach out. We love to help. We'll see you next time. Real moments are learning moments.